Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and today I am doing my next update for Deck of Panning. Now we are already this far through October and my mind just can't handle it. So we have what? One more update in November and then the finale in December. I can't believe we are this far through the year. But if this is your first time tuning into Deck of Panning, this is a panning game that was created and continues to be hosted by Emily and Max. I always have her linked down below with her intro video and also the spreadsheet in which we play the game off of. So the panning game is played with a deck of cards and then again a spreadsheet with prompts. I have not looked at the spreadsheet and actually I need to pull it up and take screenshots of it so that I can film this video, but I do have three rollouts for this update, which means we are rolling in 3 more cards. So actually, let me go ahead and I'm going to play my little intro. I'm going to pull up the game board and take some screenshots, and then we will get into this update. All right, so I did get my screenshots of the game board, and you guys, I'm going to be messing with my hair because it is driving me bonkers. The next time that my husband is due for a haircut, I'm going to go in also, and I'm going to have her cut it up to like my collarbones. So you hairdressers out there, what is that? Is that like 4 inches of hair? I'm just going to have her lop it off. I do this once a year, and every single time I go in there and I tell her like, here, she always looks at me and she holds it up and she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, just do it. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, maybe next weekend, we'll go for a haircut and you guys will be seeing the much shorter hair because this is driving me mad. So, but beyond me being pissed off at my hair, let's do my rollouts, my progress, and then we will draw new cards. So the item that has been in the longest that I am rolling out, and actually I think everything that's rolling out rolled in last update. So we have some long haul items in here, but the first one that I am able to roll out, I did pull a Jack of Clubs, and that was for a powder product, and I rolled in my Nakia Joy Velvet Finishing Brightening Powder. So this is the pink powder, and I took the sifter out and this is done. I actually finished this up today and I'm filming on the 19th, and so just in the nick of time I was able to get this done. And let me look. I don't remember if I marked this at the beginning of September or whenever I filmed my September update, but we were there and I finished it up. Usually once they get down that far, they are quickly used up for me, but I did really like this brightening powder and I love the Nakia Joy formula. It's actually my favorite loose powder formula, but I am thinking about, with the Sephora sale coming up, I am going to get a different brightening powder and try that out and see what I think before I go back and repurchase one of these. But this is another powder empty for my, inventory. This is another powder empty for my inventory and for my year-long empties, and so I'm happy to get this used up. Now, I purchased like a pack of her powders in February of this year, so being able to use up this powder within, 8 months, I feel really, really good about that progress. So we were able to get done with that powder. The next one that I rolled it in for a 6 of hearts. I almost said diamonds. Come on, brain, wake up. But 6 of hearts, which was for a concealer. And I ended up rolling in my Bobbi Brown liquid concealer. And you guys can see this one's completely cleaned out. I hated the doe foot on this because it's in the shape of kind of like a lily, like a peace lily. And I hated this doe foot, and so I actually did decant all of this into my empty Natasha Denona concealer, and then when that got all the way down to the bottom, and I think it showed in my pictures last time, I decanted that into this NARS container. And so all that saying that I now have an empty container and an empty concealer. So I did pick up that concealer in March of this year. So again, I'm happy that I'm using up products within the year that I'm purchasing them. And my goal on this was to finish it because I had such little left. So I am happy to be done with this. The formula was okay. It wasn't anything special. I almost feel like you can get something similar to this formula at the drugstore. I am back to using my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and that's going to be a holy grail. So happy to have this one done and happy to be using my Natasha Denona again as well. And then the last rollout that we have is for the Two of Clubs, which was a brand that I own the most of. And I would say, and spoiling probably nothing for you guys because I've been talking about this forever, but I'm adding to this collection more and more each day. But this is the Natasha Denona Zendo palette, and this is what our color story looks like on the inside. Beautiful warm tones for the fall. This is not a palette that I think about reaching for all the time, but when I actually was kind of like quote unquote forcing myself to reach for this because I had a goal of no pan left behind, I actually really enjoyed it. I think that the cream to powder calm in here is not the best. And so I think that because it is like pretty much the like primary blending shade that I end up reaching for to start my look or start my crease, I get frustrated that that shade, that cream to powder formula is not the best. The cream to powder formula that she had in the golden palette is actually amazing. And in the I Need a Warm. So the cream to powders in both of those are an amazing formula. So I hope that she sticks with that like newer cream to powder. But this one here is not the best. But I was able to hit every single shade in this palette. You guys will see this palette and then the associated looks coming up in my No Pan Left Behind update. But I am happy to have another Natasha Denona palette rolled out and checked off my list for my year-long No Pan Left Behind. So those were my 3 items that are rolling out. Let me put this palette behind me so I don't drop it, and then we will roll into my progress items. Okay, the item that has been in the longest, and it will be in for the rest of the year because this was literally, is that the correct way of using this? But it was rolled in for a long haul prompt. So this was the 10 of Spades, which was in it for the long haul, and this is my Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Skin Tint, and I have it in the shade 2, which is actually a pretty good shade match for me, especially because of how I like to bronze up my skin and add color back to my skin after I have that blank canvas. But I was able to use this. Actually, let me look at my little book. Let me consult the panning Bible here. So I do have 2 uses for August written down and 3 uses for September. No, I got that wrong. I have 2 uses for September and 3 uses for October written down so far. I do have a total of 12 uses overall. So this is not my daily. This is something that I reach for from time to time, but I was able to make a new little mark there. So let me see. There we go. Now it's in the center. So from the top mark down to this lower mark, we have 12 uses on this. I know, again, I'm at the skinniest part of the bottle, so I'm seeing a little bit more movement. But once I get down to this wider part of the bottle, definitely I will have slower progress if I'm not using it a whole bunch. But again, I don't necessarily do a skin tint every day, but I do want to keep this in a project so that I am mindful about reaching for it and not just letting it sit in my drawer. It is okay. I'm curious about testing this out in the winter because it is actually, and I have like all the windows in the house open today. What is the temperature today? Because you all know you need the arbitrary Florida update, but it has been cold, and cold for Florida. So it's 68 outside, so that's actually a little bit warm, but still we keep the house at 70, so as long as outside is lower than what the AC usually is running at, I keep the windows open and I save that money on my electric bill. But the low this morning was 50, so we are getting a cold front rolling through. Hopefully this cold weather stays around and we don't bump back up into the 90s again because Florida likes to do that also. But I'm curious curious how this will hold up in the colder weather, just because I do feel myself getting quite oily when I was wearing this over the summer. And so like that would get oilier and feel a little bit more tacky in the middle of the day compared to when I'm wearing my Estee Lauder Double Wear. But of course, Double Wear is like ironclad foundation, so I wouldn't expect a skin tint to hold up as well as Double Wear. But that is my update on the Fenty Ease Drop Skin Tint. And then the next item that we have in, and let me wipe this off too, very reflective packaging, but this rolled in for an 8 of hearts, and that was for a warm toned product. I did roll in one of my Hourglass blushes, and this is in Incandescent Electra, which is this beautiful coral warm tone. Love this. And my goal was to use this 15 times. Let me see where I'm at. With this blush, I have worn it 8 times, so I'm pretty much halfway, one tick over halfway, but I am halfway there. So I'm okay with this staying in even through the rest of the year if I can get the remaining uses on it over the next couple months, because I love my Hourglass blushes. They are so easy to work with, so I am happy to have that. Let's see. Oh, this one. Again, I'm kind of disappointed in myself with this, but this is the palette that I have on my eyes today in coordination with my Pan That palette for the year, which is the ColourPop It's My Pleasure. So I took mattes from It's My Pleasure, and then I took shimmers from this palette, and I did this beautiful purple look that I have on my eyes today. But this was rolled in for a 7 of hearts, which the prompt was eyeshadow, and I rolled in my Ensley Rain Flower Moon palette. Now, me keeping this in over the past couple months and not using it completely, no pan left behind yet, has nothing to say about like the formula or my love or like my absolute like... Every time I open it, like my heart skips a beat. So there's nothing wrong with this. I almost feel like I'm savoring it, but I feel like there has been more times over the last month where I've had to go out and meet with clients in person. And so that prevents me from necessarily doing a very sparkly, colorful look on my eyes with this palette. But the mattes are beautiful. The shimmers are absolutely stunning. Like I have no complaints about this, but I feel like I am kind of savoring it. So I do only have 5 shimmers to go before this palette will be completely used, no pan left behind. So I'm excited about getting those additional 5 shades worn over the next month. So I'm not upset about this staying in. I'm kind of like I'm not even disappointed. I don't even know what the word is, but I'm kind of like, okay, Erin, like get your shit together. Get your stuff together and use the rest of this palette. But pardon me. But let's move on to my next product that has progress on it. And this was rolled in for a King of Spades, which was the prompt has pan. So I had to pick a product that already had pan on it. And I did pick my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. And I wonder when my like comparisons pull up if we will see a change in this pan, because this is the powder that I used to touch up with in like kind of in the middle of the day. And so, and also I love using this powder to where if I'm just putting on a sunscreen for the day, but I'm going to be out all day long, I flat ironed and blow dried my hair and my curls are still trying to bust through. My hair can't be tamed, but whenever I'm just wearing sunscreen, then I will sometimes blot down and put this powder on top of my sunscreen just to, I know my oils are going to come out in addition to whatever moisture that the sunscreen is giving my skin. So if I want to start my day with a little bit more of a matte look, I do go in with this powder and I powder down my sunscreen. So I love it for that. But I did put a use of 30 uses, so a goal of 30 uses, and let's see where I'm at. I do have 9, so this will be in for the rest of the year, but it is something that I have no trouble reaching for when I do need to use it. Like if I'm just sitting Like sometimes I feel just like a gremlin sitting at my work computer and like I did my makeup for the day. Hi, Mr. Washburn. But I did my makeup for the day and then like the hair goes up. I end up in like a sweatshirt and like glasses on and I'm hunched over my work computer. Sometimes I feel like I end up as like a gremlin by the end of the day, but if I'm being a gremlin that day, I'm not touching up. Usually I'm washing my makeup off by about 3 o'clock during the day, just because I'm done with having makeup on. So if I do have to touch up and like go somewhere after work, then I'm reaching for this. Or if I like in the middle of the day, I have to leave to go meet with a client, then I'm going to touch up with this. But otherwise, I am just sitting here like a worker gremlin looking haggard as, so. That's my favorite look to have during the week, for sure. But let's look at my last progress item. So this was rolled in for a 5 of clubs, which was the prompt cities. And I did my roundabout magic of saying that I live in a very tourist heavy area. If it wasn't for the military or the tourism, we would have no economy here. So you people from the Midwest, you love coming here, and I love that you pay our taxes and fix our roads, so keep on coming. But I live in a very vacation destination type of area, so I did pick my vacation perfume for that prompt. And I had a goal of using it 15 times, and this is where we're at the back, if I can get the camera to focus. So we have a little bit of use, and I think I've used it 10 times. Let me consult the book. Yes, 10 times. So I have 10 times, so I have 5 more times to use this fragrance before it can roll out. So it'll roll out next next update. But this is kind of out of season at this point, even though I live in Florida, but it does get cold here, and so I do want more of those cozy notes. So I am so excited about busting out my Commodity Milk Expressive soon, because that is such a beautiful fragrance to use during the chilly months. But 5 more uses on my vacation fragrance. So let me pack all this stuff up so nothing falls on the floor, and then we will go ahead and look at the game board and do our roll-ins. All right, so I have my beautiful Star Wars cards here, and I think we looked last time at how close BB-8 was to the top. Oh, so yeah, he was 2 cards down. So in this game, there is a 1 Joker that is left in the deck. Since I do have Star Wars cards, I have Mr. BB-8. Oh, he's upside down. Let me do him right. So I have Mr. BB-8. And he is my Joker that I leave in the deck, and he was only 2 cards down on the last update. So we came really close to having that Joker. But let me pull up the game boards while I'm shuffling so that I can tell you guys what is going on, and just so I can look. But with the game boards, so the face cards and the aces stay the same throughout the entire project. So those never change, those never shuffle around. But Emily does shuffle around the numbered cards. So let's see here. We have Travel Vacation again, which I don't even know the last time I actually went on a vacation. So with 4 big dogs, vacations don't really happen all that often. But let's see here. We have Wish You Returned, Highlight, Gemstone, Fragrance, Nostalgic, Blush, Graveyard, Indie, Out of Control Category, Gifted, Foundation, Mini or Sample, Eyeshadow Wildcard, Copycat, Lip Product, Letter, Favorite Brand, Newest. There's a Peach Fuzz on there, which is the Pantone Color of the Year. And so we have some good prompts on there. I'm going to shuffle one more time. And then I always cut the deck on screen with you guys. And then we're pulling the top 3 cards. So the first one that we have is the 2 of Hearts, which this is brand you own the most from. So we had that one last time, but we have it again, so good times. Next one off the top is going to be the 6 of Clubs, which is a foundation. I already have both of my foundations rolled into projects, but I have something else that I can do. And our last card off the top is the Seven of Clubs. Okay, and this is a mini or sample. Okay, awesome. All right, I just had a thought. So let me go ahead and look through my drawers and my collection and let me pick out some items. All right, I am back. I have my picks. I am curious how far down BB-8 was in the deck. Oh, he was way at the bottom. So this was the cards from the bottom. So he was that many from the top. We were safe from BB-8 for another update, but I better keep knocking on all the wood to be able to not get him, which as I'm looking, because I've been watching all these K-dramas and stuff, my like Instagram feed is like full of Korean types of either advertisement or influencers and that kind of stuff. And I saw one lady, she got a hair correction treatment. And what they do is they go in and like perm your roots to like redefine your part or like the fullness of your hair. And I have a huge cowlick back here in the back of my head. So if I don't brush my hair right or have it pulled back in a certain way, like my part goes into that cowlick and it looks like I have a bald spot on the back of my head. But when they do like the perm correction, they lay your roots, they perm your roots to lay over that back portion so it doesn't look like you have a big old bald spot. And part of me, like, the process looked intense and like a lot of steps, and to me that sounds expensive, but I was kind of like, that could be an option, but as soon as your hair grows back out, it's going to grow back into the way that your hair follicles are there. So like it's something that you would have to consistently get touched up. And how does it look when it grows out? Because that little like inch of permed hair that used to be by your roots now grows out. I'm just curious what it looks like in the long run. If you guys have ever done like part or hair or cowlick correction perms, or if you're a hairdresser out there, because I know like Andy is a hairdresser, so I might pick her brain, but like, do we do that? Is that something that we do here in the US? And like, have you ever gotten it done? And what was your experience when your hair grew out? Curious and asking for not even a friend. I am asking for myself because my hair is thinning enough, and so I don't need to look like I have a bald spot in the back of my head. So let's look over my picks that I have. So the first card that we drew was the Two of Hearts, which is for a brand that you own the most of, and I own the most Natasha Denona. I mean, it just is what it is. I have every single mid-size palette except for the Xenon because blacks and grays are not my thing, and there is one coming in the mail to me. Of course. Did you guys think that anything else would happen when this entire time, I think for the past couple months, I've been like, okay, thanks for the neutrals. Okay, thanks for the warm tones. But where is the Leela reimagined? Like, where's this purple palette? And apparently I just need to put certain things out to the universe and Natasha Denona comes out with them. So what color story do you guys want to see next from her? And I'll start putting it out into the universe and we'll just see what happens. But the last mid-size palette that I have not touched so far this year is the Retro Glam. So I do like this palette, but because I love the mini retro. I love that color story so, so much. So when she came out with the mid-size retro and it was just mobs, I was extremely disappointed. And I think a lot of people were. And so I think that this was kind of her answer to it. But I think that this does not hit the mark like we wanted from the mini either, but this still is a beautiful color story. I do feel like because of the more pastel or white based mattes in here, it can look a little bit ashy even on my skin tone. So don't know how I necessarily feel about all of that with the kind of light mattes where, like, for my skin tone at least, like I have to set up my look with those light mattes to be able to get a nice gradient and a nice blend, but it does end up making the like inner part of my lid look a little bit ashy. So, but this here is the last Natasha Denona palette that I have before the other one comes in the mail. that I have not touched so far this year. So we're going to roll this one in. We're going to do No Pan Left Behind on this, and we're going to get this one checked off the list by the end of the year. The next card that I pulled was the Six of Clubs, and this was for foundation. And I told the truth, but I kind of lied. So I do have my Estee Lauder in my regular project pan. I'm using my Misha BB cream as a mixer for everything, so I'm not worried about that being rolled into a project. And then of course I do have my skin tint in this project already. But if you did catch my buys and buys, my most recent one where I talked about my Yes Style order, I did pick up the Tier foundation. So this is the Tier Cushion Foundation. I did pick it up in 17C porcelain, which is actually... I just noticed I did not put on mascara today. Filmed this whole video. Well, I'm not going to put mascara on now. So you guys are just going to enjoy this eye look with no mascara on. How did I forget mascara? Please, somebody come check on my brain. But I have no mascara on. So we're just going to leave it at that. But I have this in 17C porcelain. This is actually a really good color match for me, and so I do want to give this a try. I have not used this yet, but I did open it and I kind of checked the color match, and that is a very good match for me. So I talked to you guys about wanting to maybe do a try-on video that would go up on the 1st. If I can get that filmed sometime this weekend, I'll go ahead and I'll use this for the first time and give like my first impressions and maybe a little bit of a wear test if I can swing it that day. But for this, I think... let me put like a 10 use goal on this. That should take me through the end of the year, and that should also help me make up my mind on what I think about this foundation. So let me go ahead. I'm going to put my 10 use goal on this. I'm going to go ahead and use this on camera for the first time and kind of give you guys my first impression, and we'll see what we think about the red compact, because I know they have the different formulas now, but the red compact of the Tier foundation. And then the last thing that we pulled was the Seven of Clubs, and that is for a mini or sample product. And I have plenty of little samples, but what I ended up pulling out, these have been in my little skincare fridge for a while now. But I have a bunch of little packets of eye creams. And so I have the Shiseido eye cream, and these all came like in a pack together. Like you would think that they're like, oh, here you go, here's your one sample, but they sent like 10 of these. And so like you would actually have a good idea about what you think about this eye cream. But for the Shiseido ones, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 of them. Now what I'm probably going to do with this is I'm going to open all of them, squeeze everything out, and put it into a pot just so I can use it easier. And then I do have one of the Bobbi Brown Hydrating Eye Cream right here. I have to be careful and make sure that this is not the Bobbi Brown like face base formula for their eye cream, which this comes in the same pot, but if it has that same like citrus smell and citrus oil to it as the face base, then this is going to sting the crap out of my eyes. So if for some reason this has that citrus smell, I'll just use it as a face cream and get this rolled out. But these have been taking up space in my skincare fridge for quite a while, so I want to go ahead and get those done. So that is my 3 roll-ins. We have No Pan Left Behind on the palette, 10 uses on the foundation, and we're going to use up all of these sachets. And then, like I said, I have 5 more uses on my fragrance. We are in it for the long haul, so we have lots more uses to go on this one. I have the 5 more shades on the Ensley Rain palette, and then I have 7 more uses on my Hourglass blush. So I am very happy. Ooh, and then what, I had 9, so I have 21 more uses on the Rimmel powder. So I am very happy with my progress. I'm happy that I was able to roll some things out and roll in new cards and get my grubby little fingers on more of my makeup. So I am very happy with this update. But at this point, I'm going to ask you guys to do all the things. Make sure that you hit a thumbs up on this video and let me know that you guys are still enjoying my content. Hit that subscribe button down below if you're lurking or if you're new. If you hit that button, it's free for you, but it does help me out quite a bit, and I do appreciate each and every one of you who have decided to join me in my little corner and community in the makeup YouTube space. But on this channel, I do project panning, conscious consumerism, I do some of these littler projects, I do psychobabbles, I do get ready with me's, my buys and buys is really the place where I like tell you what I feel about things that I've used up completely, and then of course I show you the items that I'm bringing in with an emphasis on a beauty budget. So if all of that sounds interesting to you, plus of course we sprinkle in some puppy dog content because I have 4 German Shepherds, which update on Malcolm, he is still with us, he is doing well. His birthday is the 10th of November, and I am hopefully optimistic that we will get to celebrate his birthday with him, and that just blows my mind because his diagnosis was in the middle of August and we are already nearing the end of October. So I am so relieved with how well he's been doing, but of course we do keep his comfort at the forefront of our minds, and that is our main focus, to make sure that he is comfortable. But if we can do a birthday with him and if I can see him turn 12 years old, I will be the happiest dog mama out there. So that is an update on baby boy Malcolm, but I appreciate all of you guys for your thoughts, prayers, continuously asking me how he's doing. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure, apart from puppy dogs, make sure to drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you're doing deck of panning, what cards you drew in, if you've gotten the Joker. I mean, don't pass that like juju off on me, but let me know, have you gotten the Joker this year? I'm always curious what you guys are pulling for your Joker. So let me know down below. I love our conversations and I miss you guys on the days that I don't post videos. So with all of that said, I still need to do weights and photos, and again, kick myself for not putting on mascara today, because why would I after I spent an hour and a half putting on the rest of my makeup? But let me go ahead and do all of that. I'll say again that I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to wish all of you a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.